We'll open up the Town of Chincoteague's regular meeting for September. If we could all please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear kind of Heavenly Father, Lord, it don't seem like yesterday we were praying for safe tourist season, Lord. And Lord, we do thank you for a good and safe tourist season that we had, Lord. And Lord, we thank you for the many, many people that made it happen. Our EMS, Lord, it was just seems like they're just always on the road, Lord. And our police department, our public works, Lord, all the people that make it happen, Lord. And Lord, we just praise you and thank you for everything you do. Lord, we thank you for these volunteers here, Lord, that have do so much for our island, Lord. And Lord, we pray that we can give a portion back to them to help them, Lord. And Lord, just be with this whole town. They put a hedge of protection over all of our workers, Lord. Not just for EMS and police department, Lord, but everybody, Lord. And again, Lord, just guide us and may we make the right decisions for the town, Lord, and that's in a way that's pleasing to you. Lord, we ask these things in Jesus' precious name and for his sake, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh boy. Yikes. Mike, you might want to order pizzas.
They make rules?
Yes, sir. Please do. Yep.
And our pizza.
And ladies and gentlemen, these are the rules for public comment. All attendees wishing to speak shall sign up on the provided roster. Speakers must preface all comments by stating their name and 911 address. Comments shall be limited to 4 minutes per speaker. A speaker cannot reserve nor transfer time to another speaker. Speakers must not use profanity, threatening language, or otherwise be abusive to council members or staff. Speakers shall not address specific personnel matters which involve individual employees in a public meeting. Members of council will not answer questions directly or engage with speakers. Specific questions shall be directed to the mayor, who shall, at his direction, solicit a response from the appropriate staff member.
All righty. Here we go. Galinda?
Hi, my name's Glenda Gatchell, and I live on Bay Colony Lane here in Chincoteague. I'm here tonight to represent some people regarding the dog park. My dog and I are daily users of the dog park, and we were there on opening day, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And our group here tonight wants to bring to the forefront some issues that have been occurring on the large dog park side. There has been an ongoing drainage problem occurring at the plumbing site where the water bowls can be filled. This ground has a downhill slope, and the water runs into the area of the entrance gate and then runs into the area where the bench seating is. Both of these areas have developed a large area of erosion with muddy ground, devoid of all grass or any sort of ground cover. Unfortunately, the dogs have decided to begin to dig for shade and for coolness in that same area. So what has happened is there's large holes have developed in that particular site. So the dog park users have been spending their own time and money to obtain and install stony ground covers to try and alleviate these holes. Now, though, it's to the point where they're becoming sinkholes, especially during or after a rain event, such as we had just 2 days ago. The recent stone that was just added 2 weeks ago has already begun to sink, and the holes are a huge trip and fall hazard for people and for pets. Therefore, we are making a request for a cement pad to be installed in this portion of the park in order to prevent further erosion. Addition of other types of ground cover that could otherwise erode or be disturbed could cause a repeat of the same situation to occur. Additionally, a recent problem has come up that pertains to the entrance gate for the large dog park side. It has been damaged and appears severely bent at its hinges, and it no longer fully opens or closes properly. About 2 to 3 weeks ago, the gate was fine in the morning, and in the afternoon, it appeared to have been broken. And just yesterday, we had 2 people that got caught coming in the gate and almost fell because of that, because it doesn't open very wide, and you have to really be careful how you come in. The third item has to do with the shade sail for the large dog side that was agreed to by the Parks and Recs Committee at their May meeting and has not been installed still. We know that the Parks Department have had their busy seasons with festivals and pony penning, but we are hoping now that the sail can be installed and the above problems fixed along with at the same time. Knowing that Chincoteague is renowned and visited for its natural beauty and parks, we are sincerely hoping that these concerns will be addressed. This could be the only island park some of our visitors use or encounter, and we would be dismayed if these issues cause their opinions to be skewed. We invite the mayor and the council to take just 5 minutes out of one day and come and see the situation for yourselves. It's not difficult to understand the issue once it's been viewed. I have sent some photos to Mr. Tolbert, and he was going to put some of those up. I will email this presentation to each of you tomorrow, and I'll add additional pictures. I do have additional pictures, but you can see this is in front of one of the bench seating areas, and you can see the stone that's been added. That area today is probably down at least this deep already from the rain. It just keeps sinking further and further. This is the gate that's off the hinge that's not opening and closing properly. We don't know what happened to that. I don't know if somebody hit it with a mower or possibly, I'm not sure. And this is where the bench seating is, and you can see there's no grass. There's no chance that anything is going to grow in that area at this point. It's been eroded too long, and it just is really, it's an eyesore, and it's a danger to folks and to pets. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Tony?
Yeah, thank you. My name is Tony Cox. We retired here in 2017. Live at 6050 Tar Street. And thank you for letting me address you all tonight. My concern is the parking lot at Donald Leonard Park. I understand there was wear and tear on the lot, whether from high school bonfires, random car parkings, whatever. Mrs. Leonard had voiced her opinion to an enclosed lot as far back as I could see in the fall, but definitely since February 2024. She put forth suggestions about using local landscaping business that had previously beautified the entrance to the park. Mrs. Leonard also strongly disagreed with putting fencing around the parking lot. At the time, that was just an idea, because it would restrict access to the kayak put in. The council meeting, June 20th, Councilwoman Bowman stated none of her comments about the parking lot were transferred to the minutes of the prior June 3rd council meeting. So apparently there was some discussion, but it was never documented. So at the last council meeting, she asked Mr. Tolbert directly again, how much did it cost? Was it a contract job? Who approved it? Is there a threshold that the town manager can spend without council approval? She also stated the council should correct the mistake and return the park to its natural state. I believe that was one of Ms. Leonard's suggestions, that in the tailings or whatever that stuff is, you know, the black stuff, and you could put seed and it will grow through it. Mr. Tolbert answered, and this is in the minutes, that when they met the RCEC in February, the first subject was about the bald spots at the park. It needed topsoil and seeding. They would need to define the parking area so cars wouldn't drive over the money spent on the topsoil and seeding. He also mentioned that a fence around the parking lot would be prudent, so they wouldn't drive all around the parking lot onto the topsoil and grass they just seeded. It goes on to say there was a small discussion, but no one objected. Now, I don't know if Ms. Leonard was not at that meeting, but she, as a representative of the citizens, particularly regarding this issue, she has frequently and strongly objected to a fence, citing the restriction for kayakers' access to put in. I can kayak, but I can't drag a kayak 700 feet. It goes on to say that he proceeded, since no one objected to the fence. So that's why I don't know if Ms. Leonard was there or not, because she's very opposed to the fence. It goes on to say he proceeded to instruct Public Works to put parking there. The parking was placed on top of the original parking. The parking bumpers were already there. Surfacing was put in the same size and in the same space where the bumpers are able to identify the parking. The total cost of the parking lot was $15,000. I drove by on the way there here tonight, and they look awful bright and white. And I did notice on June 3rd, the Public Works Department meeting minutes talked about mowing grass and doing the things that they do so well. And they established a parking lot for Leonard Park with millings, I guess that's the stuff they put in, and also planned to put a split rail fence. And they plan to add parking bumpers. So the two statements do not coincide with each other. And I would ask for some clarification, since I'm not allowed to ask directly, I'm asking through the mayor, some clarifications about the bumpers. They were said by Mr. Tolbert that they were existing.
They were. My father put them there.
Public Works says they were
The
going
first,
to get.
the first, before it was even a park, when my father decided to make that a grassy area, he put parking bumpers there. And over time, those parking bumpers got overgrown and buried. They've been there for ever since before it was even a park.
Okay, so when the Public Works Department says they also plan to add parking bumpers, they mean additional parking bumpers?
As far as I know, no. Just what is there.
Because that's what it says. They plan to add parking bumpers. But anyway.
As far as I know, no.
All right. The total cost was $15,000. Mr. Tolbert did not answer all of Ms. Bowman's questions, so I'm asking you, why wasn't the council told about the parking lot? And who authorized it? Were there any purchase orders used to buy the materials that went into the parking lot?
No, it was all done in-house.
Where did the tailings come from?
The millings
The
come.
millings.
The millings come from when we do road repairs in the fall and in the spring.
So they're stored in some,
Yes,
Closets.
they're stored behind our public works area,
okay.
so they cost us nothing.
So the $15,000 went to
The labor to put them there,
$15,000
and we had to
labor?
purchase some extra millings. But yes, it's something that we have and
So how
something
were
that we
those millings
normally put.
purchased? Through a purchase order?
No, ma'am, they were just purchased.
Through what means that responds to the code that requires authorization? I'm asking as a taxpayer.
Right. As far as I know, it's normal operating procedure that we
That you
that we
just
do.
write checks? with
No,
the-
I mean, it requires, if it's that much money, it requires 2 signatures, the town managers and myself. But I didn't see that as an excessive thing.
So, a personal question here, why is it that you were the only one and none of the other council seems to know that this was going on?
Because it was brought up to the Parks and Rec Committee that it was a problem. I mean, it was discussed in many committee meetings, along with, it was discussed. It's not a secret that we were going to do it.
It apparently was because it
No,
was.
ma'am, it
handled-
was not.
Well, a lot of people were surprised by it and made their feelings known and. Ms.
Well,
Leonard-
it is a public park owned and operated by the town of Chincoteague,
Yes, sir.
and we will manage those parks as the town sees fit. And putting a parking lot there was one of those things that we saw fit. That was an existing parking lot that needed attention, and our best practice was to put millings there. And I understand that the public is upset that it's not grass, but that's an issue that we're not going to bring up again. It's done. That's,
Well, the issue that's not done yet, can we bring up the fencing that's going to go around this parking lot?
that's not going to be decided tonight.
Well, I'm bringing it up, my objection to the fencing. because
Then you would
it's-
need to bring it up to a Parks and Rec Committee meeting first, because that is the first step in that process, to bring up your objection to the Parks and Rec Committee meeting.
I will do that. Ms. Leonard has already done that, but I will do that also. And thank you for your time.
All righty. Isabel?
Hi, I'm Isabel Kaldenbach. I live at 3524 Ridge Road. I want to say everything that Glenda Gatchell just said, I completely echo. And I just wanted to point out that it's not about the dogs, it's about people. There are probably 50 people who are regulars at the dog park who go daily, if not every other day. We all go out for Christmas. There are all sorts of activities we do throughout the year. So I just don't want people to be left with the idea that this is all just about the dogs. All the studies that show that, especially as you're getting older, it's important to have social connections. That's a social connection. And it's a social connection of people with various ages. We got young people. We got college kids. We got older people. Right here, you got 7 of us sitting here today who are here with Glenda. So I, first of all, want to thank you guys because the dog park is fabulous. I've met people there. My dogs are better for it. I'm better for it. And I hope that you guys will consider some of the things that Glenda said because it is used a lot and it's important to some of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Jody?
My name's Jody Hoffman, 7149 Margaret's Lane. I'm going to actually let him do the speaking because I'm not well in public speaking.
I'm not. I'm Colin Bennett from 7149 Margaret's Lane. We have an issue with a lady that has an easement right away to her property. She has connected it to Lisa Lane and so forth. And we done our title search, our surveys, and the title people told us to come here tonight to address the town where she has took advantage of her easement right away, that we can install barriers as long as she has access to her property to cut down on all the other traffic. I mean, it's all times of the night. They fly in and out. And we maintain Margaret's Lane. It's a dead-end road, actually. And we maintain this at $1,000, $1,200 a year between the residents on Margaret's Lane. We've asked the person to contribute. She does not. She complains about the traffic as well that she created. I'm just asking that you all will do a little understanding. There's been a lot of issues there. I was assaulted with a vehicle just 2 Fridays ago, verbally assaulted, trying to protect my property. They come in. If you come in there with a regular vehicle that should be making that, no issues. But you come in there with a 10-wheel or tandem axle dump truck, you cannot make that turn. It wasn't for that. It was to allow this person access to her property and her alone, not for everybody all back in the neighborhood to use it as well. I have a thing here, but like I said, I didn't know. It shows how it should look, and it looks nowhere to this. I don't know if somebody can make a copy but we're just here to ask that we can have a little understanding, because every time an incident has happened, we've always been in the wrong, and we are the property owners. And that's really all we have to say. I'm just going by what the people down at Accomack Title Search and Survey people told us to do, come and address this with the town council, and then we can move forward from there. But they said that we were perfectly legal to put up gates or barriers as long as she had access into her property and out, that nobody else was to use it.
Well, in all personal issues like this, we've had other streets that were an issue. That's all done personally. That's not a town issue. We try to stay clear from it.
Okay.
That's one of those things that's not under our purview, believe it or not.
Okay. I'm just doing what I was told. Officer Greenlee even told me, to address the town. I just want you all to, see
it's in the record.
Yeah, for the record, because we are pursuing further legal actions to completely close that easement off, because she has other access to her property, and it's no need of it being right through our backyard. It's right in our backyard, so. I thank you all, and you all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Cindy?
I didn't realize it was a 2-pager. I'm already on the back, so I'll hold off on that. Thank you.
All righty. Lee, you going to do the same thing? Take it under Little League. Melissa? Same thing. Larry, you the same thing? Or have you got? Yeah. All right. Come on up.
How you doing? I'm Larry Conser. Live on Main Street. Probably the town dock for me is one, because we're down there all the time. The pump out. It works. It doesn't work. It works. It don't work now. It's just a pump. Why don't we have more than one? Several. And I know Vernon can't do everything. He's way busy. So I don't know if the town's allowed to work on dock stuff. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. It is.
So
Well, in the future, if it doesn't work, you can call Mike or call Wes or call Vernon. Somebody will get to it.
yeah, Vernon just does. There's no way he can fix all the stuff down there. It's not possible.
Right.
He does so much. So
Yep.
that's all. And
Sure.
it's a lot of pain. Anyway, thanks.
Yep. Thank you, Larry. Mr. Landsberger?
I didn't realize this would be such a big meeting. First of all, I'd like to thank you guys. You got the trail up, finally. I do want to say that this is the exercise trail at Brianna's Park, in case you haven't been there to do your sit-ups or your push-ups or whatever. It's a place for you to do them now. 2 of the signs are missing. Actually, one sign is missing, and one sign was put on one thing that should have been put on 2, that the 2 should have been together. So I was wondering if the town could buy 2 new signs so that people know what to do with these things that are sticking in the ground. It's not a big deal, but we've been waiting a long time. I'd like to have it done right. Also, I would like once again to point out that the town has $42,000 that they're holding on to that was raised by Brianna's people. And the agreed upon use was, number one, to put shade in the park, not to talk about shade again, but so we could shade in addition to the people who are there with their dogs and themselves, but perhaps shade our children and their parents who are actually sitting there watching their kids. And also to put in some hard trails so that disabled people can get to some of that equipment. It was agreed upon, the money was raised, the money's sitting there doing nothing. I would really like to move that forward. And finally, in case you haven't noticed, on Facebook there's a big building now behind the Y. That's going to be a gym. We have a roof on. Today they put the soffits on. They'll start putting the walls on tomorrow. I'm hoping by the end of this year we should be in there. If anybody has any questions about that. And you're in touch with the guys about the flooring, right? Okay, so if you need any help from me on that, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lansbury. All right. I'll entertain a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, moving along. We have our Mr. Tar to give us a visit from District 1.
Yes.
Let us know what the county's doing.
Well, county's not doing too much right now. After we get the budget approved, I have to call down once in a while and say, we're still on? I don't hear much from them. But tonight I come to you with an older issue it's going to be probably about 10 years old now, and that is our Chincoteague Inlet study. I'm optimistic if this will ever come to fruition. I've had some of my contacts get in touch with the Army Corps of Engineers, and finally, after numerous contacts, numerous emails back and forth through Norfolk District, whatever, this person finally got up with Keith Lockwood, who is the Chief Water Resources Division of the Norfolk District. And I'm going to give you the gist of our conversation. He started off by saying in March of 2023, the town put in a letter requesting a coastal storm risk management study and an update on the Chincoteague Inlet study that was approved at that time over 8 years ago. And Mr. Lockwood said that the Chincoteague Inlet study will be considered with all other projects, programs, and activities if a fiscal year 25 work plan is developed and if it ends up in the fiscal year 26 President's budget. So in reviewing the Army Corps of Engineers civil work budget and performance plans, which you can get on the internet and find them if you know how to do it, both for fiscal year 24 and 25. We did not find any specific line item for the town of Chincoteague Inlet study. There's more, so hang on, all right? Mr. Lockwood further let us know that the Army Corps of Engineers received an inquiry from Congresswoman Giggins' office in June and provided authority for the study and verified that appropriations are required to start the study. So the Army Corps said their capabilities for fiscal year 25 would be $500,000. Now, this $500,000 is a non-specific supplemental availability for the district, something like a slush fund. If you get something real important, they can use some of that money to go do studies and things like that. Not specifically for the Chincoteague Inlet study. So remember now, this is $1.5 million from them and $1.5 million of non-federal money. So last year the state put it up, the other $1.5 million after 8 years. And if you're wondering how come Jan Giggins' office got involved, her representative was at our Waterways Committee meeting in June, and when we were discussing this. And there's nothing been said, from my contact or from the Army Corps about the $26 million that mysteriously came into play for Eastern Shore Waterways when Jan Giggins got elected 2 years ago. We called up Norfolk office 2 years ago when this come about. I think it might have been $27 million. And they said, we can't give you any information on that. It's just too much money for us even to figure out where we're going to go right now. See, for Eastern Shore, that would pretty much take care of a lot of waterways around here, folks, not just the inlet study. Bottom line, the Army Corps says they ask every year about the inlet study, money for the inlet study, and nothing has either been authorized or appropriated. The only thing we got is since Giggins' inquiry, the Army Corps has requested the $500,000. But like I said, that's not just specifically for the inlet study. That's for to have a little slush fund to do other projects as well. And if they get that, you're looking from December 2024 to March 2025 before it will even be appropriated. And then, once they get it, you're looking at probably a minimum of 3 years to complete, which there ain't enough money to complete it anyway. So, there's some things that we can do. We can beat a squeaking wheel. I think back last time we had a discussion here, we did get letters out. I know the county got one out, the town got one out, requesting updates. What's going on? This is very important. Let's beat a squeaking wheel and keep asking. Keep asking. And get another letter out to him. And send him to Keith Lockwood. He's the man. Reiterating the importance of this project. And remember, the Commonwealth, how long are they going to sit on this meeting and a half? It may be already gone. So probably Bob Blossom needs to be contacted. Still got it? All right. And let's not be afraid to ask the Army Corps of Engineers their intentions or their actions in getting this funding. They say they ask every year. We can't go on and find out what they ask for. We find out what they get at the end. And let's try to, when we ask, get a timeline of commencement, timeline of completion, all kinds of things. And a real big one, what we can do? Let's ask Keith Lockwood to come here and talk to you guys. He can do it Zoom. We got the capabilities. But let's get him here. Let's ask him straight up. Don't let me be third in line of information. Him, my contact, me, and then you guys. Get his face up there or get his body right here. But as we're doing all this, just remember what they already do for us. When you see that dredge boat coming in the inlet twice a year. When you see them taking up the issues of Lewis Creek in their budgets. They do things for us. But this is getting very, very big. Because for long, the inlet will be washing up on Herb Jester's dock if we don't get something out there to stop it. It's getting wider and wider, like you're saying. I told you how to address it. So that's the inlet study, the best I can get right now. If you have any questions on that, please let me know now or later. You know where to find me.
Sure, let me finish. Go ahead, Denise.
Yep.
So, I personally, I think this is unrealistic to think that a $3 million study 8 years ago is still going to be a $3 million study 8 years later. There's no way. It's going to be a lot more than that now.
Mm-hmm.
And you've known me forever. I have no problems being squeaky. And this is, in my opinion, is probably the biggest issue facing us right now. And I'm all for getting Mr. Lockwood here, but not just on a Zoom meeting. The author or whoever else, me, whoever, take them out in our boat out there to the inlet. I just feel like sometimes these people's faces need to be pushed right into it. And it's just getting old. It's just getting old. And my comment about it, it's not going to be a $3 million study
You
anymore.
took somebody out. Who was
We
it?
took Colonel out.
What's it?
Hallberg. Colonel Hallberg. We took him and his
Okay.
whole staff out.
That's right.
Well,
yeah.
we didn't get a chance to take him out, but we took him to the inlet. We showed him everything.
Yeah, I
Gave him
remember
a
that.
presentation in this room on the problem.
I think it was one time it was too bad. The weather got too bad or something.
That was when the
Lawyer.
representative was here.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
But that's pictures worth. Well, I'd say being in there is worth a lot more words. Have him out there and see what it is. And show him what it used to be. Yeah. Any others? I got a whole stack of conversations here, and I was trying to pick out the high points, so I wouldn't be here until about 11 o'clock tonight. But that's what I got on the inlet study right now. Really? I got nothing. Zero. And what I'm afraid is the state is going to go ahead and use their money somewhere else. So next thing on the agenda was a hot topic at our council, at our meeting, our Board of Supervisors meeting, was the NASA decision to take the P-3 planes out of Wallops. 23 jobs affected on that. But Dave Pierce assured us, the day I talked to him, actually, our meeting day, that he had a meeting with all those affected by this move, which it's been going on for a while. They've been talking about it, and I think they got a few years before it actually takes effect, that those people that are going to lose a job there at that runway would have opportunities to have other jobs on Wallops. There's plenty to do over there. And to rest assured that Wallops is not going anywhere. I know when Jay was over there, they started closing an office or whatever. Next thing you hear, they're shutting down Wallops. But it's not going. It's too much going on over there right now. Our concern with the P-3 planes moving out of there, we've got ourselves and the state, the county and the state's got like $8 million invested in that Wallops Research Park. And one of the selling points is that nice runway that adjoins it. And if by chance the Navy decides that they're sick of hearing people complain about noise and move them planes out of there for their testing, what's going to happen to that runway? It takes a lot of money to maintain a runway. They're over there all the time. Trucks, patching this and doing that. So that's our concern. And we wrote about a 2-page letter the county did to NASA about this, our concerns with that. So there's more to come on that. Dave Pierce will be at our September meeting to give us a full rundown of what the plans are at Wallops. If you want to listen in or come on down or whatever. Any questions on that one? I got the letter here in my pocket. If you want me to pull it up on the phone, read it to you. It's pretty lengthy. Mike Mason can get lengthy sometimes. And another topic we were talking about, Gene, as he walked in, was the Queen Sign. Rocket Lab wants Queen Sign to bring in rockets on a barge, on a trailer, pick the trailer and the rocket off and set it on the ground and let a truck take it to Wallops Island. That's a big deal. And just to let you know, the county doesn't own that. VDOT owns that. We have specific rights over there to the boat ramp, but we don't own anything else over there. The fishing piers and whatever, all that kind of stuff. But it would be a big involvement of lifting this put it on 175, holding up traffic when they're talking, by 2028, they're talking at least 12 launches, whatever. We're talking about at least 12 landings at Queen Sound by 2028. That'd be a lot of holdups on that 2-lane causeway with no turnoffs or anything else. So it's put into I think they're called, what do they call, Mike put the DWR here. What is that? Department of Waterway Resources for the state, maybe?
Wildlife Resources.
Wildlife Resources. I thought that too. That they're the ones that have got this now and would be the ones to approve anything going on with that operation. It's our ramp that they're going to be tying up to, and I don't know if it would hold a barge and a rocket and all that mess. It barely holds pontoon boats sometimes the way that current.
What happened to the plan to have a thing out in the ocean, and they were going to use that?
That's still in effect, but that takes money, 3 years appropriations and all, something like Army Corps. I think this guy, he come here with a lot of money and wants to put a lot of rockets in the air. And he's running into a lot of problems with airspace time and things, scheduling, and he's not used to waiting around. He likes to get these things in the air. So that's their alternative to get more rockets in the air, I believe. Just bring them in Queen Sound and we'll trail them over there rather than do it offshore and things like that. I wish I had more to tell you on it, but like I say, all this stuff just come down to us at our last meeting, a couple weeks ago. And there are highlights that affect this little tunk.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Billy Joe, whatever happened?
Happy first day of school. What's this be?
Well, it went
80
well.
years you've been doing that?
48. That's all right. Whatever happened to the project? They were down there, they were digging out, putting in a new pier that they were going to bring the rockets in from the ocean, down at the inlet,
Yep.
and they've been digging down there
Yep.
and moving all the sand. What happened to that project?
Well, they did move all the sand. They put it on trucks from one end of Waltz and took it to the other because I drove the bus over there with people so they could watch them do it. And they looked like they'd done some work on the pier where the barge would tie up at the old Coast Guard pier. But the dredging, that's an Army Corps of Engineer deal. And you know how fast they
didn't
move.
know that before they started the project?
I
Spent
would
all that
think,
money?
but sometimes you forget that. I guess they thought maybe they'd go ahead and do it and ask for forgiveness. But the Army Corps was on it. So no, we got to go through the permits. What are you going to do with the mud and all that mess? And is it approved for this and that? And I got a place they can put the mud if they want to, but couldn't get it.
Well, as long as it sets out for 7
Yeah.
years, you can use it.
Yep. But that's all still in the works. They put jetties off Wallops
Yes.
Beach, and they're working.
They are working.
Yes,
Avery
they
filled
are.
it up with the sand, and you know what happened to the sand? It's in the ocean somewhere. But them jetties work.
Yep.
They're
I was
building
hoping it would come up north a little bit and start filling in.
Well, they had jetties there
A long time ago.
long time ago, and then
Your,
dug them up.
Your great uncle was in charge of all that.
Henry put them down, and then
Yeah.
Mike Stevens dug them up.
My great uncle used to work for him. All that was jetted. They pull it all up.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, go ahead, Denise.
I think it's also unrealistic to think that they can bring something like that into Queen Sound when there's only one way on this island and one way off. And you know as well as I do, Brian knows as well as I do.
Yeah.
You won't get an ambulance off here?
Yeah,
It
exactly.
can't happen. They're going to have to figure out something else.
So I would say probably the town needs to get something to DWR with your concerns. And maybe we're pretty much, we pretty much don't, you're asking the wrong people, Rocket Lab. We can't approve this, but we probably need to get something there to say, if it happens, we go ahead and get that double causeway going,
Yeah.
the highway going,
Yeah.
put some more bridges in, yeah.
That ain't gonna happen.
I wish I could have brought you some good news, but I don't have any good news. The
Anybody
bad
got any
news keeps us in office, right?
Anybody got any further questions for Billy Joe? Ray of sunshine? Thank you, Billy Joe. I appreciate it.
See y'all later.
See you, Bill.
All right, after that bit of good news, we'll have staff report starting with general government. Mr. Talbert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to wind up the derelict vessel removal project, Cockrell's Marine Railway award-winning contractor began work on the abandoned vessel contract on the 27th of June. By August 1st, all the vessels have been removed, including steel rigging in the marsh and the extra barge that we added to the contract a little later on. There were no spills or environmental issues created by the removal, and the project proceeded pretty much without incident. You see some progress photos here. That's the old sailboat going down into the harbor and on the truck. The two boats behind the harbor now on the trailer and gone. The barge, which was there, which was sailed down to the harbor, floated, sailed down to the harbor and put on a truck. And the trawler fishing boat that was also floated, pulled down there, loaded on the truck, and hauled off. The contractor had very little trouble with any of this. The job went well. Street sweeper, as you know, we had a fire on our street sweeper. Versa, our insurance company, has decided after several inspections with all present, including the fire investigator, engine representative, manufacturer's representative, the dealer, and our insurance agent, they decided to total it. We're thankful that they're totaling this piece of equipment because we were afraid we were going to get a repaired piece of equipment back that had continuing problems. As I think I've told you all before, we were a few weeks from making the last payment on that. If we had made the last payment on it, we would have got salvage value of $125,000. Seeing as how the lease was still in effect, we got replacement value of $300,000 on that equipment. So every once in a while, things work out. Not to belabor Billy Joe's speech, but once in a while, something works out. Wes is actively looking, and he's already met with at least one supplier of new equipment. We are also, state of Virginia, VDOT has a contract with a company, and I'm sure we're taking a look at it, but VDOT, I'm sure, had lots of money to throw at researching the equipment they're using, so we're kind of trying to skim their research from them for free and look at their equipment. In any event, we're hoping within 6 months we'll have a new piece of equipment right here. Looking at the Civic Center, August is traditionally a slow month for the Civic Center at the end of the summer. During the month of August, only 11 days used out of the 31. They included a family reunion. Virginia Spaceport was in there. We had a wrestling match in there, which was well attended. And the Kiwanis did their bi-monthly blood drive and a wedding. So a variety of events there, but it was lately used. Mary Esther applied for and got a grant for some new trash cans out there. And believe it or not, it doesn't look like much for these trash cans. 2 of them are about $1,000. So
Wind won't blow them over.
the wind will not blow those over, but municipal type industrial duty trash receptacles are fairly expensive. We look at them all the time. There will be a candidate forum for the upcoming local election for mayor and council. All the candidates have agreed to participate, and former Accomack County Circuit Court Clerk Sammy Cooper has agreed to moderate the event. Questions, the format we will have is questions will be presented by the public at the event. They'll be written down and asked by Sammy during the event. So we have a new phone system. If you haven't called the town office in the last few days, when you call the town office now, you'll be greeted by the auto attendant. The auto attendant gives you several options. We kept it simple, straightforward. You can now dial Wes, myself, directly. You can dial anyone in the office by name and or by subject, depending on what you want to talk about. I'm happy to report that since the 29th, which was last Thursday, the number of calls hitting our 2 employees in the front desk has dropped off dramatically. And now it's only been a few days, but so far we're seeing a big difference in the amount of calls that they have to answer, which was partially the aim of getting this new system. We also expect to save a few dollars in the process. So win-win at this point, but we're cautiously optimistic. Trolley, we had nearly 800 ridership for the first few weeks in August, and since the third week in August started to drop off, Billy and I talked about it, and we suspended our 7-day-a-week service because they were just going around in circles empty. Didn't make much sense. They are running weekends, and we'll be running weekends through the Oyster Festival on October 12th. We do know how to spell festival. I do apologize for the typo there. I spell better than I type. Center also has booked a wedding in October, and the bride and groom want to use the trolley that Tan purchased to shuttle their guests back and forth from the hotel to the venue. They also want to take pictures on the trolley, some of the wedding pictures. So excited about that. That's specifically the very type of event that we envisioned using the trolley for when we purchased it. Moving on to meals and transient occupancy. One thing about having the meeting early in the month, sometimes you don't get to capture all or an entire month of meals and transient, and this was taken as of August 28th. Meals is up 3.5%, but we're down about almost 7% in transient occupancy. The delinquent payments, when you check those, were about normal for the month, so we have to say that transient occupancy was just a little bit soft for collections in the month of August, which of course is the amount of business in town in July. And looking at the graphs, we don't always talk about this, but we like to see collections. We like to see those lines facing up as you move left to right. If we are really good at our job, the next percentage of budget should be level. It should be straight across left to right, and we're approaching that. So we're getting a little better at estimating when the money will come. It's just not coming quite fast enough. Financial report, we're 2 months into the new fiscal year. It compares favorably with previous years. 20% of our budgeted revenues have been collected. We've spent 14% of our expenditures at the end of August. It's about where we normally are for this time of year, and this we use just as a gauge to see how we're doing compared to other years. Building and zoning, and there's Mr. Landsberg was talking about the new gym going up at the Y. Mark issued 60 permits and did 51 inspections in the month of August. That's a lot. Total value of building cost construction was $1.25 million, and for a total cost of building permit fees collected about $4,500. And with that, I'll answer any questions you may have.
Denise, go ahead.
The trolley that
Yes,
we
ma'am.
purchased that the people from the wedding are going to use, how much do we charge for that, or is that built in with?
We are, I believe we offered, I'm going on memory here, I believe we offered it to them at $100 an hour with a minimum, I believe is what we did. We did give them a discount because the service is in connection with the center. If someone just wants to rent it off the street for an event down at the harbor or something, it would be more. But if you're already renting the center, we gave them just a small discount to use the trolley, and we feel that they complement each other very well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Talbert. Moving on, police report, Chief Greenlee.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. On August 3rd, 2024, PFC Cody Turlington completed his FTO program with Sergeant Stevens. He's now on patrol by himself, and he's here with me tonight. Cody, just stand up, wave to everybody. That's Cody. He came from Accomack County. He came from Accomack County Sheriff's Office. He did 2.5 years there as a jailer, and he graduated Police Academy on June 11th. So we're happy to have him out, and hopefully you will see him in the official capacity that you don't want to. So on August 15th and 16th, SROs Carmody and Jim Benani completed an AIR class. That's Active Attack Integrated Response. This piggybacks off the active shooter class that they had a couple months ago, except this one is designed to improve integration between law enforcement and EMS, and Brian in his report will tell you who he sent on his side of the house. On August 21st, I attended a DMV grant workshop to receive our funding for selective enforcement grant. We are working a speed grant, as you usually do. They have various different grants. Speed seems to be the major concern, so that's what we keep on hammering away at. Something that's not in your report, the dispatch room got a major cleaning. It was long overdue. I mentioned this. Not only was it unprofessional and dirty, but there were wires in there that haven't been used in 20 years, stacked up underneath the dispatch consoles. It was a complete eyesore and embarrassing when other agencies come inside of our department. So that's been cleaned up, and not only did it need that, but we have 911 equipment with the new system coming in this week. So we need to get that done. That's all I have.
Any questions? Thank you, Tom. Moving on, Public Works, Wes.
Yes, sir. So this month, Water Department had a pretty busy month. We had 5 leaks and installed 2 new services, and actually installed 1,200 feet of new water main on Bayberry Lane. Got that done. The next slide is Mr. Landsberger's already kind of stole my thunder here, but we got all the exercise equipment up around the walking trail at Brianna's Park. We acquired a equipment trailer, and this is replacing a trailer that we did not trust at all. And we've already had several moves that we've had to make to repair shops and stuff like that. And I called and got a quote when I was doing my report to see how much those moves would have cost, and we've already. It was basically those moves would have cost a fifth of what we paid for the trailer in 1 month. So I think that's going to be a good investment. We put some split rail fence up at Memorial Park Drive. I know this is just a small thing, but for pony penning, when we block that off, people like to drive through and cut through there. But we've utilized that fence that was bought for a different purpose. We also put some, as you saw last month, at Dollar General and Brianna Park as well. So we redid about 2 miles of double yellow pavement markings that were faded and basically non-existent. We did Willow Street, North Main, Ridge Road, and the S-turn down here on Depot Road to try and safeten that up. And our Public Works crew also repainted, gosh, I guess around 20 stop bars around town. So our chlorine provider for the water department was recently sold. And when they sold, our service went downhill quick. So we've had to switch providers for our chlorine. And we got in a little bit of a jam, and Accomack County agreed to loan us some chlorine to get us through. We were down to the bottom of the barrel. So, but we really appreciated that from them. For next month, we're going to go ahead and hook up the new water line that's on Wildcat. You know, I'm going to continue moving on towards getting a new street sweeper. That's, like Mike said, we've already had a presentation from one company, so we're hoping to move forward with that. And got some possible storm drain improvements that we're going to discuss tomorrow night in the Public Works Committee meeting, and hopefully get some direction on where we're moving there. So, anybody got any questions?
I just have one. Mike, can you go back to the picture of the equipment down at Brianna's? What I was wondering, and we can discuss this tomorrow. It looks like we're going to need a pad around that, just like they were talking about at the dog park. You can see where the grass is getting eat up already, and we might need to.
Well, and in fairness, that picture was taken and we just installed it. So we dug the hole for the concrete and had the dirt all over the ground. So a lot of what you're seeing there is not where grass has gotten demolished, it's because we had dirt scattered all over the ground.
Construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
But absolutely, it's something that if we see a need for, we can do.
Yeah, I was just looking at comparing the pictures.
Sure.
All right.
And Mr. Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, and like you said, as you heard tonight, we fixed the gate at the dog park. And I don't think the concrete, that's for down your road, one end at the entrance, like I said, so much in there. I think, like I said, might be a thing to do. And I guess get with the people down there around there where they sit. Like you say, the grass might not never grow because we're put a shade sail up anyway, so they make the shade. Right. So if they want stone or whatever it is, trying to work with them, see what they'd like to have there instead of mud, too.
Absolutely.
And thank you. And like I say, appreciate all of your workers. Like I say, I know you all work like maniacs, and you've got a good crew, though.
Absolutely.
Denise.
All right, yeah. So going back to the dog park, Mike, the money that's charged to the people that register, I think it's what, $35.
15. Yeah, it's 15 a week. I think it's 35 for annually.
Okay, is that money just going into the general fund, or is it
Yes.
going to the? So
as does the repairs and everything come out of the general fund.
okay, so do we not have anybody going around looking at some of this sometimes, or?
No, I can't say that because we see it every day. We see it every day. Just like Councilman Taylor was saying, we put a sail up over that, and that area gets walked in continuously. So to plant more grass there would be fruitless, but we can either pour concrete, we can put wood shavings. There's a lot of things that we could do there once it's regraded to try to maintain what's there. I wouldn't be opposed to pouring concrete there. And if we did that, then I would bolt the benches down, like I said, was going to do to start with for safety. The folks in the original meeting about fixing the dog park up did not want to see those benches bolted down. They wanted to be able to move them, which I don't advise, because if you can move them, they can more easily tip. So I think one way or the other, we're going to bolt them down so that they're safe. But yes, some type of surfacing other than grass is called for there, because you can't maintain grass underfoot like that.
Okay.
Thank you, Wes. No, ma'am. If you can say after the meeting, or if you want to talk to Wes after the meeting, you can do that. All right, Brian, you're up. Uh-oh. Recorder.
We got to start all over again.
It's only been down there for 10 minutes. You're good. All right, as soon as Mr. Talbert gets the presentation up, we'll get rolling here. So good evening. Since your report, we had a few more runs coming in August for a total of 130 runs in August, which is extremely busy. So I went back since we started running 24-hour service, which was in 2007. Believe it or not, this is only the third busiest August. In 2011, we had 133. 2018 was 131, and then, of course, this year 130. So it's in the top three since 2007. So definitely a very busy August that came about. And with that, just some general out-the-door time, average 1.88, on scene within 4.46 minutes. So out of those 130 calls, there was an ambulance on average on scene in 4.46 minutes. So definitely, kudos to all my folks, because they do a fabulous job. Revive training. This is something that I'm sure, Tyler, you might be a little bit familiar with this, but it comes through the Virginia Association of Chiefs of Police, and also through the Virginia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services. So we've all heard of the opioid crisis. We've all heard of Narcan. Narcan seems to be this magic drug. Believe it or not, 34 years ago when I got into EMS, we had Narcan. But it's used a lot differently now, and access to it has gotten a lot better. So you think, well, why would EMS providers who've had Narcan for all these years need this type of training? We're expanding on the Narcan and its use. So we're still going to use Narcan in our drug kits. We're still going to administer it, follow protocols, and so forth. However, a lot of times when we end up on scenes of overdoses, we give the Narcan. The patient, thankfully, starts breathing again. And a lot of times before, we're 5-10 minutes into the situation, they're refusing to go to the hospital. Okay? Of course, we want them to go because a lot of the medications that are out here now on the opioid realm might take multiple doses of Narcan, might cause a relapse 10, 15 minutes down the road. So, of course, we want everyone to go to the hospital. But a lot of folks don't want to do that. So we've expanded with the Revive training. We now carry Narcan on the ambulance in an individual separate area that we can leave behind. So the training instructs the providers on how to instruct the patient and or their family members, because it'll give peace of mind to that family member, because the opioid crisis causes immense pressure on not only the folks in the EMS realm, the medical realm in general, but family members. Family members are first and foremost in this. So now we can leave Narcan behind, instruct family members how to use it, and or the patient in case they're in a circle that maybe might see an overdose. So with this, it could potentially reduce some of our responses for overdoses, but more importantly, it's going to make the community much more safe. So on our overdoses now, when we go out, if the patient chooses not to go to the hospital, we're going to leave behind Narcan just for them to use. So something that's really, really done well to make the community more safe. So most of the time at midnight, 1 a.m., I hope most of us are in bed, including myself now, because I hate to tell you, up in the middle of the night and go on a call anymore, it's tough. People don't lie. The older you get, it's harder to get up. But we had a crew that was returning from Riverside Shore after taking a patient down there, and they came up on an accident. They were first on the scene. You can see that as a tractor trailer that's across Route 13, northbound lane, there in Mapsville. And the car on the right struck that tractor trailer that had poor lighting as it was crossing the highway. So they were first on the scene. They were able to render care to the driver of that vehicle, single occupant, and were able to then, once Bloxham Fire Department arrived on scene, they were able to extricate through a pop door and then transport the patient up to the trauma center in Salisbury. So again, a lot goes on that we don't see out here, and I know Tyler's folks, my folks, they're out here all night long while we're home enjoying a good night's sleep. So a good outcome on this call. Almost there. Those of you that were at the Public Safety Committee meeting in August, we were working towards getting our drug kit program up and running. We were told by the inspector from the Board of Health that we were one of the very few agencies in Eastern Virginia, meaning the Eastern Shore, and all of the Tidewater area that actually was this far into the process. Our inspection went well. At the time of that meeting, we were waiting on our getting the completed CSR and receiving our CSR number. All that's been done, and now we're just awaiting, hopefully in a few days, our DEA registration. We're doing employee training, and we can move forward with the drug kit program. And again, here in the Commonwealth, there's been a lot of pushback, but this is something that's happened at the DEA level, the FDA level, since 2017. So Virginia's actually lagging behind in this. I did find out today, I was going to tell Billy Joe, steal somebody else's thunder, but he left too early. I did find out ACMAC did receive their CSR number today. So they're on pace now to go ahead and apply for their DEA. So our goal to go live with our new program is going to be mid-October. So everything's looking good there. On the emergency management side of the house, we know Tropical Storm Debbie was the big talk when we were here last month, and the rain from that looked to be horrendous, but Debbie did us a favor, went out and viewed the mountains instead of staying along the seashore. So we had very little rain from Debbie, which was a very big blessing for us here. We did host a regional catastrophic planning exercise work group. We had a workshop over at the center. So again, another kudos to Mary Esther in getting the center out there for us, and she helped me set a few things up with that. Mayor Leonard did come and speak to the group, as we had representatives from Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware as we're working on this catastrophic planning through the grant that Maryland actually got from FEMA. So thankfully they get to do all the paperwork. Ms. Lewis helped us close out the local emergency management planning grant for this cycle. That did some upgrades to our EOC, actually finished some of our upgrades to our EOC, like our nice blue work desk countertop here, and a few other things. So, and we also got the Pony Penning After Action report completed, so we're ready to start our planning process for the 100. So, is it hurricane season? According to what we were being told earlier in the year, oh, look out, it's Armageddon. It's still early. We're not even at mid-season yet. And that's what's going on in the Atlantic as we speak right now. There's a few areas of disturbed weather. Again, the Bermuda High has been perched in a place pretty good this year that has kept a lot of these waves further south. And again, it's still early. And with that, it's time to prepare. September is National Preparedness Month, and it's a good time to look at some of your home plans. And again, these things don't have to be in writing, but go through and look. Make sure you got some non-perishable food, some water, a gallon per person per day for up to 5 days. FEMA will tell you 3 days. I'm going to tell you 5 days because I know how FEMA operates. Make sure you're looking out for your pets. Know where your evacuation routes are going to be. Know where you're going to go. Are you going to go to a shelter? Do you have somewhere else to go? Now is the time to prepare while the sun is shining. Don't wait till that rain's coming down and the wind's blowing that rain sideways. So in summary, EMS finishes very busy the summer season. We've initiated the Revive program. The drug kit changes are moving forward at a pretty brisk pace. Hurricane season continues with still a busy outlook. And again, prepare now. I'll entertain any questions.
Anybody? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to committee reports, starting off with the Parks and Rec. Gene Wayne?
On August 8, 2024, we had our Recreation and Community Enhancement Committee meeting. And like I said, it was a very busy meeting. Talked about fixing the Wilson Memorial Park on the pavilion, bathrooms, and the dugouts. But I think we kind of decided on the dugouts that we just go ahead with fence-type dugouts that are open, that way it's less of a hideout, and it'll still be safe for anybody that's in there using them. We also talked about the Amron floor, getting that done and in coordination, and I think this is going to be around $64,000, and we're going to try to get that fixed up for everybody playing pickleball and basketball in there. And we're talking about the spending that $42,000 on shade for at the Brianna's Kindness Park and where people are sitting, and we're going to, like you say, look into the hard trails going to the individual thing. And so, Wes, if you can look into that so that each individual place people in wheelchairs can get to there too. Also, we also talked about having a new volleyball court down at Memorial Park. I know I was there playing tennis one night, and there's a bunch of teenagers. Some were from Chincoteague, some were from Arcadia, and they were doing, but they were out on the tennis courts playing volleyball. And I took a picture, and I said, "Don't think I'm casing you." I said, "I want to take a picture of y'all playing volleyball on the court, and we're going to try to have you a volleyball court here." So they didn't feel as bad when I told them that's why I was taking their picture, and they said, "Oh yes, we would love that." So we'll try to do that too. We were also discussing adding another citizen in the near future on the committee. So somebody's got that in their mind, and in the near future we're going to talk about adding another committee member too. So anybody's got any questions?
Anybody? Thank you, Gene Wayne. Moving on to public safety. Denise?
Yes, sir. We met on August the 12th, and Chief Greenlee brought us a proposal that the police officers need new in-car and body-worn camera systems. The ones that they have been working with have failed, and the customer service is unacceptable. And he applied for and received a grant in 2021 to purchase the body-worn cameras that have lasted about 3 years. long story short, we voted to send it to council for approval for him to go ahead and purchase the cameras for in-car and for the body worn. That was about it.
Any questions? Thank you, Denise. Budget and personnel, Vice Mayor?
Yeah, we had a good meeting. We actually were still looking at additional revenue sources, and we had some good discussion. We also talked a little bit about some favorable programs in that line with encouraging permanent residency and affordable housing and tax cuts. We seem to be running across the brick wall with a lot of these things in conversation with our legal team out in Richmond as far as the Dillon rule is getting us kind of every time we turn around, because the state has not specifically granted us authority to do any of these ideas that we have. So we haven't given up, and Mike, for those who were at the last meeting we had, he was sent on another mission to talk to the legal team, and he's got some more stuff that he'll be sending out to the council over the next couple of weeks, and we'll take this discussion up again in October. But I think usually I'm a big believer in, don't reinvent the wheel. However, I believe in some of the stuff that we've been talking about, we are going to be actually reinventing the wheel, and it may be something that we have to go outside of our normal Dillon rule allowances and possibly into some legislation type stuff. So like other localities have done that we have seen and are gathering data on. So it's continued, and we're actively working on it. So that's my report at this time.
Any questions?
I did, when I was reading the report, talking about the availability fee, that was for water main, is that that availability? And that one, like you're saying on that, what does it cost now to do a water meter? And the biggest portion of it is the availability fee.
It depends on the size of meter.
Well, a 3/4 is for a house.
I mean, it starts at 5/8. I believe it's in the neighborhood of $6,000, something like that.
And how much of that is availability fee?
But I'm thinking half, but I'll have to check.
I think it's even more than that. Okay, so because it used to be $750 to do a water meter, and then it jumped to that for the availability fee. Yes, if you could find that like I said, it used to be. I know it used to be $750, and then the other was availability fee. About like what Chris was saying here. I was thinking about $5,000. That was availability fee. So cutting off $5,000 off of somebody's home. And you could do it in the same way if it's going to be used for permanent residence. That would be, if that's something we can do legally, there's going to be a permanent residence. Listen, $5,000 saves, $5,000 saves. It's for permanent. And that's something we can do, like you say, with a stroke of the pen. And thank you.
Thank you, Gene. All right.
Mr. Mayor,
go ahead, Denise.
When we talked about all that, about trying to get more families here, young families here, to be able to raise their kids and everything, because we're losing a lot of that, as everybody can tell. Chris was very instrumental in finding information about that. The other localities, of course, in other states, are doing too, such as Ocean City and everything. But I think that we have to be very proactive about this as a council to get some legislation done to encourage these families to come back here and live. I've said it many times. If I didn't get that, inherited a house, I wouldn't be living on here. And people can't afford it. And watching young families go away because they can't afford it is heartbreaking. So I hope that we can continue to work on getting legislation done to help us get some things done for our community. That's all.
All right, thank you. Anything else before we move on? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes from our regular council meeting and our workshop meetings in August.
So move.
Second. Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is a holiday decoration memo. Billy?
So after we closed FY25, we had some budget surplus monies that were appropriated to replace the decorations that currently line the various telephone poles, various streets on the island. Once that money was identified, put together a committee of some citizens to work through some recommendations on what to replace and what to replace it with. Met with Wes and Edwin, reviewed what the town currently has. Mostly it is the lantern type decorations that have lined Main Street for like the last 18 years. So they have got some age to them. And of course over that time, salt air, all that type of thing, they're not in the greatest condition. So we worked with a group out of Youngsville, North Carolina, Mosca Design. They've been instrumental in what we've seen with Christmas by the Sea and Robert Reed Park, as well as some of the other newer LED lights that line some of the poles on Maddox Boulevard in the last couple of years. We took a look at how many poles we had to work with, what we needed to replace, and went to work suggesting new lighting to adorn those poles. As we went through this process, working with this group, they've been instrumental working with Kevin Crome and Steve Potts, who were two members of the committee in the past with Christmas by the Sea and Christmas Manor. So we were actually able to get some additional savings from the company in the tune of 18 to 25% off everything that we purchased, which is a big deal when you look at some of these decorations that run anywhere from mid 500s to mid 1500s. So it's a big deal to get any kind of discount like that. With that discount, in addition to with some other funding through donations from civic organizations and area businesses, we were actually able to extend the scope of what we were looking to replace to include the areas from the Waterside Inn northward on Main Street all the way to the Island Motor Inn, and then from the bridge all the way down Maddox all the way to the museum, which is a significant area. With this, we'll look to purchase 42 LED pole mount decorations, and what it'll be, as you can see up on the screen, there's a couple pages of these. They're of a nautical design. We wanted to take that Christmas by the Sea motif and expand on it and try to keep a more singular experience for visitors, and since Christmas by the Sea is already such a so as you can see, these are some of the samplings of some of the things that the committee picked out to put on the poles to replace current decorations. In addition to that, we're looking to put a 12-foot tree of lights, which you'll see in the bottom right-hand corner, the one in the center, the red, green, and white lights. That'll actually go at the foot of the drawbridge. There's already, when you come onto the island, if you look to the right, there's some Christmas ball type decorations there. This will be on the other side, and we made sure to stay within the height of the current poles in the area, not to obstruct any views or anything like that. The wreath that you see there, there'll be a 10-foot wreath put on the side of the center complex, or excuse me, the town complex here locally. And then we also picked out is 5 wreaths, 3 foot in diameter, that will go on the old firehouse. For those of us that have been around that long, when the Shinking Volunteer Fire Company still occupied that building, there was wreath over each one of those bay doors. We're going to look to recreate that and put those back with new LED lighting. And then, Mike, if you go to the next page, there you go. The lighting that you see to the left, that is actually being purchased by the Downtown Merchants Association. That'll also go in Robert Reed Park to join the big Christmas tree. And then to the right, and I apologize for the picture, it's the best that we could get right now. There'll be a new Christmas by the Sea sign that will occupy that spot. The only change that you see from the picture is the umbrella will be like in Christmas colors, red and white, and not the red, blue, green, and yellow that you see there. That's a very large sign, and all this is the newest LED technologies. So the presence that these will give throughout the town will be much more pronounced than what we had. And what we'll see as we go through the town, as we go through each street, is you'll see a nautical design, a snowflake, and then another nautical design. So something that keeps it consistent but also breaks it up. And then for those poles that we can't put light up decorations on due to the transformers, things of that nature, that make it impossible on the pole, we'll continue to use the holiday flags that we've used in years past. The committee is still working on some things. We want to, through donations, look at things such as getting music downtown through the advent of new wireless technology, to be able to have music playing during the holidays, and not only during the holidays, but something that the downtown merchants could use to actually play music year-round. So if you have different seasons, different things going on, you could set the music accordingly. So something that the committee is also looking at. So the good news is we were able to turn all this in about 6 weeks. We got everything on a purchase order by the end of August. That way we can get it here by the beginning of October. Public Works can start working on it. Look at what poles that we have to get electricity run to, because we are putting a big addition to the scope that we already had, and to get those up in time for the committee wanted to make sure we had this done for this holiday season. So want to thank Kevin Crome, Steve Potts, Tracy Robbins, Robin Conklin, and Cindy Faith for their help. They were instrumental in getting this done, and look forward to seeing everything up and everybody can enjoy it for the 24 holiday season. So that's it.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Add some cheer to the town. Appreciate it.
Better than Billy Joe's report.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. The reason most of you are here is to consider the FY25 donations. This is a change up from what we used to do. We've asked you all here to represent your organization. And I guess I'll start with Cindy.
Good evening, Cindy Faith, Museum of Chincoteague Island. Well, first off, I'd like to say it's a great opportunity for me to just personally look in your face and thank you for all that you do for the town. A lot of it gets unnoticed, but I do notice. So I know it's hard sometimes with all the naysayers, but you guys are doing a great job. As far as the museum is concerned, most of you have been coming to the museum for years. It's the 52nd year that museum has been there, and I wish the founding women were here today to see all the changes and growth that we have had at the museum over the years. But we keep busy. So the exhibits, many are changed every year. Of course, you know last year what a big deal it was purchasing the BB Ranch. If you've had the chance to ride by and take a look, you can see there's lots of repair and renovation that's going on the outside of the house. We've added a handicap ramp, made it ADA compliant inside, and we're working on the exhibits inside the house so that next year people can come and see it. Many people are reaching out and can't wait to get over there and take a look. So it's going to be a huge asset for this town, for visitors and locals alike, to come and learn about the history of the island. So we've been certainly busy with that. We did purchase a new bus to help with the Road Scholar program that we run annually. So we've had a lot of things going on. They all cost money, of course, and we are always grateful for anything that the town can provide and help us with, and also so wonderful that we get such an outpouring of support, just really nationwide. People come in. They just love Chincoteague, and lucky for us, we get some of that love on behalf of the town. So we have a lot planned for next year. It, of course, is the 100th anniversary of pony penning and the carnival and the fire department. So we are working on some great exhibits to highlight all of that. We are wrapping up the year here. We still are on full-time schedule until the beginning of November, and then we will be just the Fridays and Saturdays until the second week of December. We have lots of events going on still, lots of fundraising and great fun activities to bring the family out to. So if those listening, watching, or here haven't been in the museum this year, I encourage you to come and see the new exhibits for this year, because they won't all be there for next year. So there's a great excuse to come every year. So again, thank you. So any questions that I could answer for you?
Anybody? And historically, the the council have supported the museum every year to the tune of $5,000, and that's what they're asking for. So, Mike, did you want to do this individually as far as a motion to get it awarded, or?
It may be easier for the council to do this individually than to wrap everything up at the end of the night in one motion that may have to be changed because
Multiple
the parts
times.
are changing.
Right.
Or to agree on one motion. It may be easier for council to do that, cleaner, to do it one at a time.
Right. All right. Well,
But that, of course, that's at your discretion. Mr. Mayor.
yeah. Well, the museum has always gotten this $5,000, so I'll entertain a motion to award their annual gift.
I'll make a motion to award them $5,000 in a donation.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you all.
Thank you, Cindy. Is there anyone here from the library? I jumped over you all because I didn't recognize anybody. The library's another one that we have supported annually. And they sent along in their application their profit and loss and their what they were going to do with it also. And again, it's one of those ones that we've done annually for as long as I've been here, I believe. Any discussion on the library? I'll entertain a motion to approve of the $5,000 that is asked for by the library.
Motion. Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. Let's see. And I'm sure we'll be visited by one of their representatives here shortly. Next up is the village neighbors, if they would like to come up.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
And members of the council. I do not have anything prepared to say this evening. I've already spoke to you, and I just thank you for the time and the work that you do, and appreciate anything that you can do to support village neighbors.
Any questions? Discussion? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening.
Alrighty, the village neighbors has requested $5,000. Is there any discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the amount requested of $5,000 to the Village Neighbors Program.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Alrighty, moving on.
How much money we got left?
Not a whole lot.
It's clean.
We're burning her up.
All right, North Accomack Little League. Lee?
Took a few notes for you while everything was going on. A lot of you guys have had kids come up through the Little League here. I don't know if I was lucky or just in the wrong place at the wrong time or the right place at the right time, but I ended up being president this year. So as you guys know, the Little League does a lot, helps keep kids out of trouble, teaches good sportsmanship, teamwork, respectful conduct. It also helps to draw young families to our area that we serve here on the North Accomack Little League, which is primarily made up from people on Chincoteague and very close surrounding areas. This year, well, the last several years, our enrollment has increased significantly. And in the last few years, we've been working very diligently to maintain our facilities and improve them at the same time to stay on par with our sister leagues and districts up and down the shore here. So this past summer, I don't know if many of you know this, but we hosted multiple district all-star games, which brought teams from the Virginia Beach area and down the county to Chincoteague for the weekend at a time. So brought in a little more than just our local people. So last year, I believe the town gave us a donation to help. We're working on getting our building for indoor practice area done. And we've raised enough. I put the deposit down on the building, I think it was a week and a half ago. I met with our contractor who's going to do a pole barn out here, 40 by 80, 14 foot tall. So we'll have indoor pitching and hitting areas so the kids can practice year round and not just be outside, keep them out of the elements and stuff so they can do more. We've raised enough funds to cover the building, or very, very close. So we're right there at that. The building's going to cost us around $46,000. What we need still is money to finish the inside for doors and for concrete floor and for we're going to get turf to go on top of the concrete inside the building. So the doors, we're going to have roll-up doors on each end so we can open the thing up and get air flow through it so it's not terribly hot or terribly cold, hopefully. That's going to run us, we've got several quotes. The middle one's about $6,500 for the two doors. The concrete's going to cost us around, our best estimates are around $8,000 just for the concrete, maybe $8,500 just for the material. We don't have a dedicated person to do the installation yet. We're hoping to get that donated. We're talking to a few different people. And then the turf for inside the building, some local people have, and they're going to offer that to us at a very good discounted rate for $4,000. So I don't think we put anything on our application for an exact number, but any one of those items would be greatly appreciated. So,
all righty. Discussion about Little League. I mean, we've got 5 left. No, we can. 5. We've awarded 15, so we got 5 left, and two applications still pending.
Well, the dare's only 500.
Right.
So I'll give us half of 4,500. And we want to get there for 500. That's a good program.
Right.
So you got 2 left, and then.
I'll make a motion, KBD, to give the Little League 5,000.
Yeah, I agree. I'll second that.
All righty. We have a motion and a second to give the Little League 5,000. We're going to have a little discussion on that. We've got. Are we just going to go over?
Amend
the motion to amend the budget.
Amend the budget.
Are we going to amend the budget?
You started giving it away before we were worried about the budget. So I didn't think we were worried about the budget.
Yeah, Chris, I agree with you.
You started hanging out. I didn't think we were doing anything with the budget anymore.
Well,
we threw the budget out the door.
Well, we decided on the. Yeah, we're in the budget now, right?
Well, we can come up $500. I think.
Is the question is $500?
Well, we've also got PTSA still come to speak, so we might be looking for $5,500.
As you know, FY25 donations were budgeted at $20,000. Whatever you decide to do, I mean, if you direct the town manager to go back and look at the budget and see where we can.
I think that'll work.
Appropriate more money. I'll be glad to take a look and see where possible areas that may be.
I think we'll be fine. All right, so we have a motion and a second that we grant the Little League $5,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, PTSA. Was that you, Melissa? Didn't expect that, did you? But here you are.
But I am Melissa Baird. I'm the current secretary of the PTA. And it says CHS. It is very much a combined school organization. The middle school is very well represented. And since I didn't prepare anything, I'll just tell you off the cuff what I know that money will go to. So as we all know, everybody hears that school budgets are cut short, so there's not really any money in their budget for extras. And I know in the past, one thing that was done at Shinkadig Elementary and definitely the middle
was dances and activities like that. They would be held, and they would be a PTA fundraiser, and you would have to pay an entry fee. And when I started as treasurer in elementary school, several years ago now, we had enough money through donations to kind of end that practice, and we do not charge for those events. We don't hold them as fundraisers. We come up with the money. We put the call out to parents to donate, snacks or drinks to provide, and we come up with an activity to do. So it's all of those kind of extra things. There's a homecoming dance for the high school. The PTA puts on a middle school dance because the middle schoolers cannot attend the high school dance. And we do that through parents volunteering to chaperone and whatever monies we have in the coffer. We also today did a welcome back to school breakfast for the teachers. And again, kind of put out the call to get donations, get parents to make goodies or bring in things just to show the teachers appreciation. We do the same for all the teachers, staff, support staff at the school during Teacher Appreciation Week, which is the week of Mother's Day every May. And we also offer a scholarship. Any student who's a member of the PTA all 4 years of high school is eligible, and we take what we have budgeted for that year and we split it evenly for any student that makes that criteria. So we would appreciate anything you have to give.
All righty. Thank you.
Thank
you. And I'll just add that I know many members of council have enjoyed things up at the high school, middle school, and we need to support those schools as best we can, because we're very fortunate to have them. So I will entertain a motion to donate $5,000 to the PTSA. Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next up is the DARE program from Accomack. Mr. Campbell.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, sir.
My name is Jason Campbell, and I should have asked for $5,000.
Next time you'll learn.
It was a typo, right? So, the reason I'm here, as you all are aware, the Accomack County Sheriff's Office runs the DARE program in all 5th grade schools in Accomack County, from Pungatig to Tangier to Chincoteague. That's all funded through the Sheriff's Office, my position, and almost everything that we spend towards DARE comes from the Sheriff's Office. The only thing that we seek donations for is DARE Day. DARE Day is a big celebration at the end of the year. It's hosted at Nandua High School. Every 5th grader that graduates DARE in Accomack County, and last year we were able to include Northampton County, which was great, gets to come. It's a free party where we celebrate the kids' work and effort. They have to write an essay in order to be invited. They have to participate, remain respectful and good in class. Any kind of ISSs or suspensions will get them removed from the DARE Day. But that's all free for the kids. There's bounce houses, slides, obstacle courses. We got the DUI drunk goggle card out last year to give them some demonstrations on impaired driving. And it's a celebration and it's a coming together of all the schools in the county to demonstrate and to show them that we're all kind of on that same track and that same mission. So any donations that we do receive go just to DARE Day. It doesn't go to my salary or any other equipment that I use. It's just for that purpose. So again, I thank you for your time and any donations you all can make. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, can we make a donation of $1,000?
Yeah, I agree. Yes, ma'am. You make it.
Yeah. I'll make a motion.
Second. Ms. Ellen has made a motion that we donate $1,000 to Accomack County DARE. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Thank you all very much.
Campbell, we're going to have to borrow money from somewhere.
That's okay. I don't mind. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next year might be different.
We'll have to get Mike some heart medication.
It is
He can find that.
The
Yeah.
DARE Day is a
It is.
great thing.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of kids enjoy
I've been down there before.
Yeah.
With,
It's a hot day, but cook out.
that's true. They have a good day off from
They
school.
do.
All right, next on the agenda is our town's MOU with the 911 system tower. Mr. Talbert.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As I think everyone here knows, the County of Accomack is getting a new 911 system. It was part of a community project that was done when Lena Lauria was in office. It was a much-needed system. Originally, this system was for Accomack, Northampton counties. The town, as you know, has their own dispatch system for police department. Our 911 is dispatched through the county, but our town is dispatched, town police officers are dispatched locally. Early on, the county of Accomack decided to include us in this project, which means that the town of Chincoteague will get 2 dispatch consoles, which are, I believe, identical to the ones being used or going to be used at the 911 center in Accomack. All the installation comes with the project, as well as all the antennas, wiring, everything that's needed. There's a new server rack in our dispatch room, everything that we need to operate it. We, on our part, have cooperated with the installation contractor and with Accomack County and ESBA 911 Center, and one of those things we have to cooperate with is space on our cell tower. And I say our cell tower, the cell tower that we lease to American Tower. Because some new equipment has to be located on that tower as part of the original lease agreement, the town of Chincoteague will have to pay to occupy those spaces on the tower. We are given 1 free space, which we've already used. In fact, we have another space which we already pay for on a monthly basis on that tower. So all of the ESBA 911 equipment which they are installing on this tower, the town of Chincoteague will have to pay for. But on the good side, the 911 center, ESBA 911, will reimburse us to the penny for the money that we have to pay American Tower. The amount of that is $966.03 a month. We pay that to American Tower for the newly located equipment, and the ESBA reimburses us on a monthly basis to the penny. This agreement memorializes that arrangement. As part of the inner workings of this agreement, we had to amend our original tower lease, which basically said, here's the new equipment, here's the new exhibit, which describes the equipment on the tower. If you look at the second page, there's also, you'll see that the $966.03 is mentioned, and the ESVA will reimburse us that. Then item number 5 says that the town of Chincoteague shall pay us ESVA 911 $4,328 at the beginning of each year for support and maintenance costs associated with the dispatch radio consoles. The town's only cost of participating in this program, in this new project, is that $4,328. That is going to be the only cost to the town for participating, getting the new consoles and being part of the new system. However, we currently pay $12,000, a little over $12,000 annually to have our dispatch service associated with a cloud-based dispatcher. So we are going to cancel that service and pay the $4,328 a year, saving us nearly $8,000 a year in dispatch revenue.
There's our money.
There's our money. Wait a minute. That gives us an extra.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
more.
$2,000. Yeah.
So there's a reason this came after the donation. In any event, I'm here to say that the agreement is a good agreement. Everything has been accounted for. ESBA 911 and the town of Chincoteague are playing nice. They're completely reimbursing us for everything that we are having to put out on their behalf, and even including us in the project. So for the town of Chincoteague in a good position here, we're going to receive a good value for the money that we're putting forth.
This $4,328 at the beginning of each year, and this contract or this MOU is going to go for what, 20 years, right? Commencing, yeah.
Yep.
All right. So is that $4,328 good, same price every time, every year, all up to 20 years, or is it going to go up?
Until they say differently, yes. That there is There is no provision in here to accelerate that as far as I'm aware, as far as I can see. At some point, I would imagine that their contractor is going to charge them more for maintenance and licensing.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time they get charged more, they'll ask for us to update this agreement.
Any further discussion? Is this, Mike, this isn't something that needs to get approval, is it? Or it doesn't?
I did not want to sign this without the approval of council.
Okay.
I did sign the amendment to the tower lease, but that was basically within the guise of the lease.
Yep.
And also kept the project moving.
All righty.
Motion move forward.
Second.
Motion and a second to move forward with the MOU between Town of Chincoteague and Eastern Shore 911. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all. Moving on in your packet, there's a septic local partners project. They met on August 14th, and everybody has a list of the people that applied, and the committee has reviewed all 10 people and approved them. And I guess what we need to do is discuss or just approve of the committee's approval of all these people to be awarded for the septic local partners project.
And Mr. Mayor, if I can,
Go ahead.
if I may say, this is the initial approval from the committee. A committee is required to make this recommendation, and council is required to approve this recommendation per our agreement with the DEQ. There are other hoops that the participants have to jump through, and I should say they have to continue to qualify as we move forward in the process.
Right.
There are other things that must be done during the process in order to continue to qualify, and if at any one time those things aren't accomplished, like getting more than one price, certain things like that, then that person or that applicant could potentially be disqualified at that point.
And how many more, or how much more do we have left to spend with this, or with this tap in?
Probably close to $800,000.
Right.
Still.
So this is we're not even touching it.
As you can see on the top of your sheet, it says first round.
Yeah,
we're
first
going to do
round.
this again and
Yep.
again and again, probably
until the word gets out and people can
try our
actually,
very best to give this money away.
Yeah. Yep.
So you need a motion?
Motion.
Yes, ma'am, please.
And just for this first round,
As,
just say it like
as
that.
presented, yes.
Right.
I make a motion, we approve this first round as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank y'all. All right. So now we're on to mayor and council comments. I guess I'll start on my right, Miss Ellen.
No, I'm just spent
Denise?
Believe it or not, well, yeah, I do have something. We have a wonderful town. We have wonderful parks. We have wonderful people that visit us and wonderful people that live here. And we do a fantastic job. Public Works does a great job with maintaining and doing what they do. But there's always ways to improve on a couple things. And as a council member, I don't like it when a citizen comes in here and says that they've spent their own money to make something better. That shouldn't happen. You know, we should be on top of these things. And I feel like we just need to do a little better on being on top of some projects that need to get done. Billy Joe, talking about a squeaky, you got to squeak. Well, everybody in this room knows me since I was born just about. I can squeak like a mouse with his tail stepped on. And Mike knows that, and I get on his nerves with it. But we have to do better on getting some of these projects done. And I know Public Works is pushed to their limit. And I'm not saying anything wrong at all, because they do a fantastic job. But we've got some other things that we really have to nail down and get done and pay attention to. And other than that, I appreciate every single one of them, what they do. I watch them out there. I'm always out and about. I see them working hard, all of our employees. And I just like to see some things like that getting taken care of before a citizen comes in here and says that they spent money on, fixing it, which shouldn't happen. Other than that, go Yankees.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Bott?
Nothing at this time.
Brother Billy?
I think the only thing I got tonight is piggybacking on one of the topics Billy Joe had about the loss of the airplane, or part of the airplanes for the runway use at NASA. I think it would behoove the town to write a letter similar to what the county did as far as our concern with any loss over there of any jobs. It sounds good to say, well, these folks will have opportunities, but what will those opportunities be? Would they be jobs as, paying at the rate they're getting paid now? Those type of things. And beyond that is also the amount of folks that these people bring here for their testing and their projects that they do off these planes. You're talking about several hundred people over the course of a year. Most of those in our shoulder season. They are a good amount of money that they spend, whether it's their lodging per diem or their meals per diem that go into our restaurants and hotels. So I think it's a concern that we need some better assurances than just, hey, we're thinking that we can replace these jobs, and hey, we're thinking it may bring this in. What is for certain is if we don't do something to try to either slow this down or prevent this from happening, there are going to be a loss of jobs, and we are going to have a loss of income and transient and meals tax. So that's the thing I'd bring up tonight.
Thank you. Jim Wayne?
The amount of money that we've given out tonight isn't a drop in the bucket to what you all put out, not just in money and effort. But I really believe that y'all are here because you want our blessing, and I promise you got it. Please keep on doing what you're doing. And even the people that aren't here and didn't ask for money, it makes our island what it is. People that are working with the youth, keep on working with them. Like their man, problems they got, but keep them strong, keep them involved. People that are working with their fellow people that are the elderly and they need, and I know with my own mother, the need is great. And keep on doing it. I know we've given you, like you say, it's just a drop in the bucket of what y'all really need, but y'all are providing, not just with your time, but your own money and efforts, and we thank you very much.
Jay?
I'd just like to concur what Gene Wayne said, that the volunteers who make up the community and so forth are doing a great job. There are stability on the island, and just kudos to them. Also, the EMS is doing a fine job. They're just going to be hard to ever match their performance anywhere. I'm telling you, 4-point-whatever minutes getting to a household and taking care of people. Just kudos to them. Our police department is doing a comparable job as well.
All righty. Thank y'all. Mine's short and sweet. I just want to be thankful for where we live and the people that live here. Roll Tide. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session according to 2.2-37113 of the Code of Virginia for the consideration of the purchase of property for public purpose. Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.